All right, we are going to start standing tonight. So just finding that comfortable stance on your mat, just letting those feet calm down wherever, if they're hip distance, if they're wider, wherever you want to rest those feet, let the hands just float down by your side and start to close the eyes. Start to take those deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Feeling that breath move in and out of the body. Taking this time to start to recognize that breath, to start to focus on it, to see how it makes us feel when we do start to focus on that breath. Also taking that time right now to start to let the day go. Start to bring ourselves into our rooms and onto our mats. So take this time right now to just take those deep breaths. And take a few more deep inhales and exhales. And on that next inhale, we'll start to bring those arms up. Interlace those hands up at the top. Turn the palms away from the head and start to push those arms up. And if you want, you can kind of sway side to side here, stretching out all down the sides, going back and forth. And then coming back, center, rotate those hands so they're facing back towards the head. And then start to slide those arms down so they're in front of the body. And then rotate those palms so they're away from the body. And start to push those palms out and round that head and tuck that chin to the chest. Take a deep breath here. And then we'll start to straighten that head back up, bringing those palms back in. Inhale, lift those arms back up. Release the hands, and on the exhale, let the hands come down, bringing them behind the back, interlacing behind the back this time, and pushing those arms out, away from that lower back as much as we can, opening that chest, opening those shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. And then let those arms come back in. Release those hands up and down by the side. Kind of give those fingers a little wiggle. Rotate those wrists around. And then let those arms fall. And on an inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up. And exhale, roll them back. And on that inhale, bringing those shoulders up and exhaling them back. A couple more times here. Inhaling those shoulders up and exhaling back. And we'll do one more. Inhale those shoulders and exhale them back. And then let those arms come down. Close the eyes. Take a deep inhale. And exhale them out. On our next inhale, if we're not at the top of our mat, we can come up there. But we'll inhale, bring those arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms palms out wide. Start to swan dive down over those legs, putting a bend in those knees here. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway up. Exhale, fold. And inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhale them down. Inhale the arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms wide, start to swan dive over those legs. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhale them down. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms wide. Swan dive over those legs. Inhale, sliding those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhaling them down. Inhale the arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms out wide, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. On this next inhale, we're going to take those feet, step them back to that high plank or drop down onto those knees. As we exhale, come all the way down onto the mat. Untuck those toes. Inhale, lifting just that chest. Exhale down. Inhale, push back to down dog. Take a breath here. And on that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over the legs. And inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhale them down. Inhale, bring those arms up. Keep going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, opening those palms wide. Swan dive over the legs. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step those feet back to that high plank or onto those knees. On that exhale, coming down all the way onto that mat. Untucking those toes. Inhale, lifting just that chest. Exhale down. Inhale, push back to down dog. And taking that breath here. On that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over the legs. And inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhale them down. Inhale, bring the arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms wide. Swan dive over those legs. Inhale, sliding those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step those feet back to that high plank or onto those knees. Exhale, coming all the way down. Untuck those toes. Inhale, lift that chest. Exhale down. Inhale, push back to down dog. Take a breath here. Actually, we'll hold this for a couple breaths. So feel free to pedal those feet out here, lifting one heel, dropping the other, taking our time, moving back and forth, stretching out the backs of those legs. And then let those legs come into stillness and take that breath here. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift that right leg with a bend in the knee. As we exhale, bring that knee forward towards the chest and drop that foot between those thumbs. Rotate that back foot so it's parallel with the mat. Take those hands up on that front thigh. Give ourselves a little help coming up. You can straighten that front leg. Rotate that front foot so it's also parallel with the mat. And then take a second to line those toes up here. And we'll inhale, bring those arms up. And on an exhale, just fold straight down between those legs. And then let everything hang here. Let that head hang. Let those shoulders relax down. Take some deep breaths here. Feel free to circle the head around. Maybe shake it yes or shake it no. And then just let it relax down. Take a few more deep breaths. And then taking those hands, placing them in front of the face, straightening those elbows. We're going to start to walk the hands towards that right leg, spinning those feet, coming back up onto those back heels. We're going to take that back foot and kind of hop it forward, just maybe about a foot length or two, and then rotate it so that heel's down on the ground and that toe's kind of pointing off at an angle. And then we'll take the hands on the thigh, give ourselves a little help up. And then once we're in our standing position, we just want to make sure everything's kind of in line. So if you got to adjust those feet, feel free. Make sure those hips are pointing nice and forward. The heels in this pose are about in line with each other if we can get them there. And then we have that bend in that front knee. Let the arms come down to the side. And on an inhale, bring the arms up. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. So try not to arch the back too much in this pose unless we're doing that full back bend, which right here we're just holding straight up and down. So trying to tuck that tailbone in. And take a few more deep breaths. And then on our next exhale, we're going to bring those arms down, letting the hands come behind the back. So we can take the hands and rest them on the lower back, kind of stacking the hands, or if you want to kind of fist bump those hands together and then rest them on that lower back, you can, whatever is more comfortable. We'll take an inhale here at the top. And as we exhale, we're going to start to bow ourselves over that front knee. So that right shoulder is coming over that right knee. Trying to keep as straight a line as we can from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So we don't want to round ourselves over that front leg. Just kind of hovering here. Taking a few deep breaths. Hold for one more breath here. And then on that next inhale, slowly lifting ourselves back up to standing. Release those hands. And then take that back foot. You can take the hands, place them on the hips if that's comfortable. Take that back foot, rotate so we're up on that toe, and then step that back foot forward. And we're going to go into a balance pose here. So I'll move. So we're going to keep that right leg as that planted foot. So release the hands from those hips, kind of let them come out to help with that balance. So that right leg is going to be that planted leg. We're going to start to roll up on those left toes, finding our spot on the floor that's not moving as we lift that knee up to the chest. And then we're gonna cross that leg over that planted foot, planted leg. We can put a little bend in that right leg to kind of help get that leg over. And then when we feel steady, we'll bring those arms up in front and take that left arm underneath that right, crossing and rotate those palms so they're together. And then lift those elbows so we have that 90-degree and not letting those elbows rest down on that chest. Take a few deep breaths here. Hold for just a couple more breaths. So use this time to focus on that breath and squeeze those inner thighs together. And then we'll slowly release those arms, release those legs. Let that leg come down and shake those legs out. Shake those arms out. And at the top of our mat, we'll inhale, bring those arms up. And exhale, swan dive over those legs. And then let ourselves hang here. Again, letting that neck hang, letting those shoulders hang. If we want here, we can take hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand and just kind of sway side to side. Help release any tension in that lower back. And then come back, center. Release those hands. And we'll inhale, slowly sliding ourselves all the way up. Allowing that blood to rush back down from the head. And take a breath here. And on the next inhale, we'll bring those arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms out wide, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step those feet back to that high plank or drop down onto those knees. As we exhale, coming all the way onto the mat, untuck those toes. Inhale, lifting that chest. Exhale, down. Inhale, push back to down dog. Take a couple breaths here. As always, in that down dog, feel free to pedal those feet out. Maybe the backs of those legs need a little extra stretch today. But remember to take those deep breaths here. Taking just a few more breaths in our down dog. And on our next inhale, we're going to lift that left leg this time with a bend in the knee. As we exhale, start to bring that knee forward, dropping that foot between those thumbs. And take that back foot, hop it forward, that foot length or so, and then rotate that heel so it's down on the floor, and that toe's pointing off to that angle. Take the hands on that front thigh, lifting ourselves up. And again, adjusting those feet once we get into that standing pose. So those heels are about in line with each other. I didn't say this on the other side, but if that knee is a little bit tight with that foot that way, you can take the foot and put it all the way parallel with the mat as well, if that helps a little bit on that knee. Or you can come up on those back toes. So taking those hands on hips, making sure those hips are pointing nice and forward. Let the hands come down by the side. And inhale, bring those arms up. And hold here for those few breaths. Again, tucking that tailbone here. We're not adding that back bend, so you want to try to protect that back just a little bit in this pose. So take those deep breaths here. Try to relax those shoulders down from the ears so we're not tensing those arms up. Just let them relax down. Take a few more deep breaths. And then on that next exhale, let those arms come down, bringing the hands behind the back. Again, we can either rest those hands stacked on top of each other on that lower back. Try to rotate the hands so the opposite hand is on the bottom if that's how we're letting them rest. Or we can take those knuckles, kind of giving ourselves that fist bump on that lower back. Take that inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to start to shift that upper body over that front leg. So that right shoulder is coming over that, left shoulder is coming over that left knee. Again, trying to keep as straight as line as we can from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So we're not rotating over that front leg. Holding here for those few breaths. And then on the next inhale, we're going to lift ourselves back up. Release those hands, rotate that back foot so we're up on those back toes. And then step that back foot forward. And we'll go into that balance pose on that left leg. So let those hands kind of float out to the side to allow us, with that balance, starting to roll up on those right toes. Lifting those toes up off the mat, bringing that knee up to the chest. And then taking that leg, rotating it over that left leg. And again, we can hook that foot around the calf or kind of let that leg or foot hang out or slide that foot down so the toes are just kind of hovering over the mat to help with that balance. When we feel ready, we'll take those arms, bring them in front. And then take that right arm on the bottom, rotate those arms towards each other so those palms are facing each other. And then again, we want to lift those arms so we have that 90 degrees so those arms aren't resting down on the chest. And hold here for those deep breaths. Focusing on that breath here, squeezing those inner thighs together. Taking a few more deep breaths. And then we'll slowly release those arms, release those legs, and shake it all out. And coming to the top of our mats, we'll inhale, bring those arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those arms wide, swan dive over those legs. And then let ourselves hang here. Taking those deep breaths. Again, if we want to take hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand and just sway side to side to help that lower back release, feel free. Let the head hang, let the shoulders hang. And then we'll come back center. If we have a hold of those elbows, releasing them down. And we'll slowly put a bend in those knees, start to roll ourselves all the way up, taking our time, allowing that blood to slowly rush out of that head. And close the eyes up here, take a deep breath. Exhaling it out. Opening those eyes back up. We'll inhale, bring those arms up, gaze going up towards those thumbs. Exhale, open those palms out wide, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, slide those hands coming halfway. Exhale, fold. On this inhale, we're going to step those feet back to a down dog. So take a few breaths here. Again, feel free to paddle those feet out. Using this time to refocus on that breath. And then we'll slowly come down onto those knees and make our way to have a seat onto our mat. Bringing those feet out in front of us. So we're going to take the feet together, sliding them in towards the hips. And rock side to side so we're up on those sit bones. We're going to take a couple different variations of this pose. So kind of let those legs get comfortable. If you need to slide the feet out a little bit, feel free. But we'll take our traditional one here first. So take a deep inhale here. And then on the exhale, just fold that upper body over those legs. I'm trying to keep the length in the back here. So we don't want to round that upper back over those legs. So we have that string pulling from the crown of the head, stringing us out. And letting those legs just relax down naturally. So try not to push anything down towards the ground. And take those deep breaths. We're going to hold this for just a little bit longer, allowing those hips and legs to kind of release here. Using these poses that we hold that little extra length to just focus on that breath, feeling it move in through the body and out through the body. Holding for a few more breaths here. And we'll take the hands, place them on the floor, slowly start to push ourselves back up. So we'll go into that next version of the pose. So we can keep the feet here, but if we find that it's a little bit more difficult, you can kind of go into some crisscross here. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to start to twist over to our left side. So we're just going to take the hands, twist ourselves around like we normally would, but let those legs fall. So try not to let them come up as we twist. So we can always rock side to side here. Take our inhale. And then as we exhale, twisting to that left side, slowly coming around, letting the legs release, and then taking the right hand, kind of placing it on the top part of that left knee, and just bringing that gaze to wherever is comfortable. Again, let those legs try to relax down. Holding for a few more breaths. And then we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back forward, bringing that arm around. If you need to kind of roll anything out, feel free, or we'll rock back side to side here, get up on those sit bones. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, twisting towards that left side, this time taking the left hand, placing it on the top of that left leg, and then again, just twisting as far as is comfortable. And just letting those legs fall down. So try not to bring those knees up. Take a few deep breaths. And take a couple more deep breaths here. And then slowly start to bring ourselves back forward, bring that arm around. Take those hands under the knees. This time we'll give them some help up and then straighten those legs out in front of us and give those legs a nice wiggle. And then we're going to do one more twist here on each side. So with those legs out in front of us, we're going to take the left leg, place that foot up on the mat, and then cross that leg over so that foot's on the outside of that knee. Sitting up nice and tall, take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, start to twist towards that leg, taking that right arm alongside that thigh, and then bring that gaze as far over that back shoulder as is comfortable. Take those deep breaths. And then slowly start to bring ourselves back forward. Uncross that leg. If those legs need a little wiggle, feel free to wiggle them out here. And then we'll take that right foot, placing it up onto the mat. Cross that foot over so it's on the outside of that knee. Sit up nice and tall here. Take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, twist that upper body towards that bent leg, taking that left arm alongside that thigh, and then bringing that gaze as far over that back shoulder as is comfortable. And take those deep breaths. Hold for just a couple more breaths here. And then we'll slowly start to bring that upper body forward, bringing ourselves around. Uncross that leg, straighten it out again if those legs need that a little wiggle here. And then we're going to take those legs, cross them in front of us. So we want to try to not do our crisscross applesauce if we can. Just take that front leg or take the whatever leg is forward, placing that shin in front of the other foot so that other foot's kind of tucked into that crease in the legs. So they're kind of stacked in front of us. And we're just going to let the hands rest. And we're going to close the eyes and take a deep inhale in and exhale it out. Take one more inhale in and exhale out. And open those eyes back up. Start to straighten the legs back out in front of us. So I'm gonna turn so you guys see what's going on. So those legs are gonna be straight out in front of us. We're gonna take the hands, rest them on the thigh. So we're gonna go into another kind of twist here, but we wanna try to keep the hips and the bottom down onto the mat as much as we can. So we don't wanna roll over to twist over. So keep that in mind. So taking the hands, resting them on the thighs. As we inhale, we're gonna start to lift the hands up. And as we exhale, we're gonna rotate the upper body towards the right, bring the hands around behind us as far as is comfortable. And then we're gonna start to bring ourselves down to the floor, bending the elbows. Again, if that hip starts to roll up, that's okay. So only go as far as is comfortable. And we're gonna hold here for just a couple breaths. And on an inhale, we're straighten those elbows up, bringing ourselves back up, rotating back around, let those hands come down onto those thighs. Take a deep inhale and exhale it out. And we'll twist over that other side. So as we inhale, we start to lift those hands up. As we exhale, twist that upper body to that left side this time, letting those arms come around, resting them as we come down, and then bending those elbows. Again, that hip is probably going to roll up off the mat, and that's okay. But we'll hold here for just a couple breaths. And then on the next inhale, straightening those elbows back up. Bringing ourselves back forward, let those hands come down, take a deep breath. Exhale it out. And then if you need to, you can kind of relax that back, round it forward. And then we're gonna come back up. Take those legs, widen them on the mat, only as far as it's comfortable. So if it's just the width of the mat, that's fine. If you're all the way out in the splits, that's fine. Wherever you're at, just let those legs come straight out. So we're gonna fold between the legs. I find it a little bit easier to take the hands behind me and then kind of walk myself forward and then bring those arms around. Flexing those feet up towards the face. We can have a little bit of a bend in the knees. Trying to keep some length in the back. This one might be a little bit more difficult to do that. You can always take the hands out on the toes as well to kind of bring ourselves down a little bit farther and kind of help lengthen out that back. Try to relax those kneecaps down. And take a few deep breaths. And then to slowly come out of this, we'll start to walk the hands back towards the face. Take those hands under those knees, let those legs come up, and then we'll make our way onto those hands and those knees. So take a moment here to line those wrists up right under those shoulders. Those knees are right under those hips. Those feet are flat on the floor behind us. As we inhale, we're going to drop the belly down, bring that gaze up. Exhale, roll that spine, tuck that chin to the chest. Inhale, dropping that belly down, bringing that gaze up. Exhale, roll that spine, tuck that chin. Inhale, drop that belly down, bring that gaze up. And exhale, roll that spine, tuck that chin. Doing it a couple more times here. Inhale, dropping the belly down, bringing the gaze up. And exhale, roll that spine. Inhale, dropping that belly down, gaze going up. And exhale, roll that spine, tuck that chin. On that next inhale, just coming to that neutral spine and taking a second here to kind of make sure everything's still lined up. We're going to take the left foot, sticking it straight out behind us, and then take that right hand, sticking it straight out in front of us. So that left foot's flexed down, those toes are pointing down to the floor. That hand is pointing straight out in front of us like we're going to shake someone's hand. And we're going to hold this for a couple breaths. And then drop that hand back down, drop that leg back down. Again, take that second here to make sure everything's all lined up. And we'll move to that other side. We're going to take that right leg going straight back, flexing that foot down. Take that left hand out like we're going to shake that hand in front of us. And hold here. Taking those deep breaths. And then take that hand, place it back on the mat. Take that knee, place it back on the mat. And we're going to tuck those toes and lift those hips up, come into that down dog. Take your time here to pedal those feet out. And take those deep breaths. Our last down dog of the evening. And on our next inhale, we're going to start to shift our body forward, coming into a high plank. So feel to adjust those feet out if we need to. And we're going to hold this for just a couple breaths. And you can always drop down onto those knees. And then on an exhale, come all the way down onto that mat. Untuck those toes. On an inhale, we're going to lift that chest. And we're going to hold here for just a couple extra breaths. Make sure that we're engaging those abs here to help take a little bit of that strain off that lower back. Taking a couple more deep breaths. And exhale down. Rotate that head so we're resting whatever cheek on the mat. Take those hands, let them come down by the sides. We're going to take a deep breath here. And we're going to move into one more back bend here. So on an inhale, we're going to start to lift those head, neck, shoulders, everything up off the mat. Those feet are coming up, that face is coming forward, those hands are facing behind us. Take a deep breath, engaging the abs here, helping that lower back out. We'll hold this for a few extra breaths. And then on an exhale, let everything come back down. Turn that head to the opposite cheek. Take a couple deep breaths. And then take those hands, place them under the shoulders. start to lift ourselves up onto those hands and those knees. And we're going to take the hands again, placing them under those shoulders. And then take the elbows, place them right where those hands are. And then let those hands just come flat out. And then let that head hang here. So try to keep the belly engaged here so we're not starting to droop out the lower back down. We're trying to keep some length here. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then we'll slowly start to lift that head back up. Take one hand, place it where an elbow was. Start to put pressure. Bring that other hand in. And we're going to make our way to have a seat on our mat. And take the hands, place them behind the back, letting the hands face whatever direction is comfortable. Take the feet on the wide edges of the mat. And we're just going to let those knees drop side to side here. Kind of stretch out those hips. And then bringing those legs back up. Walk those feet back center. And we're going to make our way all the way down onto our mats. Keeping both feet, placed onto the mat. We're going to take the right ankle, place it on top of that left thigh, and then kind of let it rest there. And then start to pick up that left foot, bringing that knee into the chest as far as is comfortable. Take the hands, place them behind that thigh, and then start to bring that head back down, bringing that knee into the chest to get a stretch deep into that right hip glute area. If you feel like you're not getting much of a stretch, you can take the hands, place them on the outside of the shin, and bring that knee into the chest, or just start to shift that knee more into the chest, or you can slide that foot closer to that left hip. Wherever you're at, take those deep breaths. So allow that leg to release and relax. Hold it here for a few more breaths. And then we'll slowly start to release that leg, let that foot come down onto the mat. Take that right leg, uncross it, straighten it down onto the mat, and wiggle that leg. And then take that right foot, placing it back onto the mat. Taking the left ankle this time, placing it on that right side. Starting to lift that right foot up off the mat. Taking the hands behind that thigh. And then start to lay back down onto the mat, bringing that knee into the chest. Take those deep breaths. Again, if you need more of a stretch, you can take the hands, placing them on the outside of that shin, or you can slide that right foot closer into that left foot closer into that right hip area. It'll give you a bit more of a stretch, or just start to bring that right knee more into the chest. We should feel that deep stretch in that left hip glute area. And just send that breath there. Holding for a few more breaths, allowing that hip to release. And then we'll slowly start to release that right leg down. Take that left leg, slowly uncross it and straighten it all the way down onto the mat and give that leg a nice little shake. And then let that right leg come down. Take those arms up overhead, doing one final stretch here. So stretch those arms all the way up, stretch those legs all the way down. Full body stretch here, just like we're waking up in the morning. And then let it all fall down to the mat. Let those legs fall to wherever's comfortable. Bring those arms down alongside the body. Start to close the eyes. Start to refocus on the breath. Feeling it move in, down the back of the throat. Filling all the spaces in the lungs. And then moving down to the fingers and toes. And then feeling it leave the body on that same path with each exhale. Try to clear the mind of any thoughts you might have. Release any tensions or stresses that you might be holding on to. Just letting it all melt away with each exhale. Allowing ourselves to sink deeper and deeper into our mats. Allow yourself to have this opportunity to not have to worry about anything, to not have to think about anything, to just be here in your room and on your mat. We'll slowly start to bring a little life back into the body by wiggling the fingers and toes. Start to roll the wrists and ankles. Rock your head from side to side. Begin deepening your inhale and exhales. When you feel ready, slowly take one foot, place it on the mat, and follow it by the other foot. Slowly bringing one knee into the chest, followed by the other, taking hold of the legs and rocking side to side. When you feel ready, roll onto your right side. With your right side grounded by the earth, leaving your left side open to the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the gifts the universe has to offer you today. When you feel ready, slowly come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll take the hands in front of the heart. Close the eyes one last time. Take a deep inhale and exhale it out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this evening. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you.